Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Gab, and I'm here with my cousin and co-host,
Dylan.
And today we are talking about a movie that I have nominated as one to watch before you die. It is actually a favorite of my fiance, Corey. And even though I had seen it before, it was one of the movies that he quoted all the time, and I would always be like, what is that from? So clearly didn't really stick with me. Dill, you had seen this movie before, of course.
I definitely don't remember like the first time I saw this movie, but I just feel like it's one that they played maybe on TV so much I'd seen it, or I feel like by the end of it, I figured out like the perfect way to watch this movie. But yeah, there's a bunch of quotes that I've quoted this movie and didn't realize it. Like I had a roommate in college who always said, "You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp." And I was like, I didn't remember what it was from, but watching this, I was like, oh, that's what he was doing.
That's
I
funny.
also feel like
That's
I all
funny.
the time go, I like it a lot. And
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
that's from this. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Well, our favorite is if I start listing things that are wrong, I'll be like, and then we've got to make sure we get the envelopes addressed and we got to stamp them. And Corey goes, our pets' heads are falling off. And that, of course, is in reference to what year is it, Dill? 96?
94.
1994's Dumb and Dumber, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
Correct.
Do you often confuse Jeff Daniels and Dave Coulier, or is that just me?
I totally see why you say that. No, I don't.
Hmm. Okay,
The real
that's
question
weird
is, would
for you.
Alanis Morissette go down on him in a theater?
I literally started watching this movie and was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but he groomed Alanis Morissette. And then I was like, oh, no, he didn't.
This is ironic. It was a jagged little pill that she ended up having to swallow, though.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just thought you ought to
Dylan?
know.
All right, thank you. What is this movie
Put me out
about?
of my fucking misery.
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
Explain!
As you would a child.
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber is about the two dumbest people on the planet, and they have to return a suitcase. There's a whole bunch of other plot that I feel like is important, but that's all you need to know. They have to get to Aspen with a suitcase, and they're really, really dumb.
Interesting. Okay, not your best work, but
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to hear what IMDb has to say.
After a woman leaves a briefcase at the airport terminal, a dumb limo driver and his dumber friend set out on a hilarious cross-country road trip to Aspen to return it. Now, do you agree that makes a full distinction
No.
of which one is dumb and which one is dumb?
No. I actually had a full conversation starter of who do you think is dumb and who do you think is dumber, because it is without doubt that Lloyd Christmas is dumber than Harry. Harry is more naive, but he's definitely not dumber than Lloyd.
You can argue it either way at times. We see that at least Harry can read and Lloyd has trouble with reading. Like, you can argue it for both, I think is the way it's meant to be played, is that they're both I'm with stupid of the group, you know?
Yes, yeah.
You want to hear taglines?
I guess so.
What one doesn't have, the other is missing.
That's funny.
If they each had half a brain, together they would still only have half a brain.
Uh,
For Harry and Lloyd, every day is a no-brainer.
oh, that's cute.
That nails it, yeah.
Yeah.
Gab, I don't think there's that much plot that we have to summarize here. Should we just get to our opinions?
I think so.
In this critic's opinion,
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
I don't think I have like a ton of opinions for this movie, but I will say I love the touch of misspelling the opening credits.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, like production has a K in it, or director will be spelled with like a U at the end of it. Yeah, fun
Yeah.
stuff.
I think what's really interesting about the beginning of this movie is that I have two thoughts on like the first 1 to 2 scenes, right? Where we're really getting introduced to the characters. When we first meet Lloyd, he is in the back of a limo. He pulls up to an attractive woman. He lowers the window and starts talking to her. And some of the exchange is him being like not super bright, but what we come to find is that when she rejects him, he rolls the window back up and then goes to the front of the limo where he is the driver. So in that moment, you think, well, that's kind of intelligent, right? Like he pretended to be the rich guy in the back of the limo and was like, oh, my driver is lost. So that is such an interesting moment where it's like, okay, so he's not a complete, like, imbecile. Like he had this idea and it's kind of smart, even if the dialogue was a little bit like he was confused about things or he didn't understand the nuance or any kind of like double entendre.
They each show moments of cleverness, like he scams Seabass into paying for their tab at the diner, or he's able to get the blind kid to buy Petey the parakeet.
Yes, yes. But I will say that I think up until the movie really gets going, I think in the beginning, they are really heavy-handed with how dumb they are, and I think it doesn't really start to get super funny until the plot really starts because there's just so much, it's kind of similar to The Naked Gun, where it's like, we're just going to have so many jokes, and some of them will land, and when they land well, and some of them won't. But I think there were so many where it was like, okay, this is like, I remember this being a funny movie. I don't remember it being like, huh, you know?
I was gonna say, it felt like it really reminds me of like those Saturday Night Live produced movies where it's like Lorne Michaels presents the Coneheads or Superstar or It's Pat, and better than those, but I think that's because of the star power of Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. But it kind of reminds me of the plot is pretty inconsequential. It's just like, here are the gags. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And they actually do a really good job of keeping the plot as inconsequential as possible. There's some kind of hostage situation where this rich woman's husband is being held hostage, and what's in the briefcase is the ransom, and they're trying to keep it out of the media. But we don't really learn any of the details. We just kind of understand that that briefcase was meant to be retrieved by these gangsters, and Lloyd intercepts it, thinking that he's going to bring it to Aspen to give it back to this woman, and she's going to fall in love with him.
Yes. The underrated part of that is the trio, because I feel like the clips you always see are, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world or whatever. The guy, I think his name is Mike Starr, who plays Mental, does such a good job of trying to remain a normal human being. And like that, the one scene he shares with them, or I guess it's two scenes, in the car and in the restaurant, is probably the funniest part of the entire movie. Especially, I did not remember how funny it was, and it had me laughing out loud. Lloyd giving him CPR, I say in air quotes, as he's just thrusting his legs into him, going out with the bad air, in with the good, out with the bad air, in with the good.
Yes.
And then when he spits lettuce and goes to perform CPR on him, as he does such a good job coughing out, don't. Like, it'd be much easier if you stop resisting. That part was like cracking me up. I was dying at it.
Yes, yes, same. That was really the first moment where I like thoroughly laughed out loud. I also, there's a moment before that where Mental and what was the woman's name?
Shay.
Shay, oh, of course, are knocking on the door, and Lloyd and Harry are under the impression that it's like a bill collector for the gas company, that they didn't pay the gas bill. So as they are plotting their escape, they leave a note on the front of the door that says, "Sorry, gas man, we're out of here," or something like that.
It says we're heading to Aspen.
Got it. Thank you. So the Mental takes the note and looks at it and reads it and goes, how do they know I have gas? And I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, because he's taking pills the whole time for this ulcer he has.
Yes.
It's also pretty funny the way that they go through some what should be traumatic incidents that are kind of brushed over. Like, it was really funny. I'm watching this with somebody who had never seen the movie before, and first they kill Mental, but they're kind of fine in the car afterwards. But then after Lloyd has his second encounter with Seabass in the bathroom, where Seabass attempts to give him some manly love, which probably wouldn't fly in a comedy today, that there's kind of an extended, like, he's about to force himself on Lloyd in his face. You know what I mean? They're back in the car afterwards, and they just kept saying, Lloyd's a different person now. And he is for like a minute, and then it's just fine. I think it's endearing how dumb they are the whole time, though. Like, the best example I can think of is when the car runs out of gas because Lloyd is driven the wrong way into Nebraska. You should be thinking to yourself, well, they've they've blown it, they've separated, and Lloyd comes back to Harry with this motorized scooter that he traded in their van for. And you get Jeff Daniels' whole thing of like, just when I think you can't do something even stupider, you go ahead and do something like this. And it's the really dumb turn of, and completely redeem yourself, that you're just like, of course, like no matter what, they're going to be done together. And I think
Yeah.
that's the endearing thing about it is, Lloyd has this moment where he's talking about, I'm sick and tired of being alone or whatever. And they always like, as much as they'll screw each other over, because we know that Lloyd screwed Harry over with Frida and Harry attempted to screw Lloyd over with Mary, they just always end up having each other.
Yeah.
And I never saw Dumb and Dumber 2, the sequel, but I just can't
You
picture those
didn't?
two not being together. No, I didn't. I seen Dumb and Dumberer, the prequel.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of when I said that. I assumed that that's what, because I mean, there's shit everywhere.
Dumb and Dumberer, I know people hate that movie. I loved it. I thought it was hysterical, especially I just think those two actors who played Harry and Lloyd did such a good job of being Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
Yes, I agree. I loved that movie too. I had it on DVD. I thought it was hilarious.
I think I
Um,
do have it on DVD. I think I have like a 2-pack that it came in at some point before they came out with Dumb and Dumber 2.
oh God. I didn't see Dumb and Dumber 2 either. I've heard, obviously, we've all heard the reviews, right? It was probably a waste of time. Um, Here's what I think is so special about this movie. Typically, these sort of like dumb gags where two people or one person are not getting what's actually happening, they require a straight man. They need somebody who is clearly, with the audience. And in this movie, outside of the scenes with like Mental or with Mary, you just don't really have a straight man and you don't need it. It's almost like we are the straight man because we are in on the joke.
That's what I was going to say. It's either we are the straight man, or at times in some of these scenes, they each can become the straight man for each other. Like, I think what's interesting is they're both the dumbest people in the world, except for when you need them to be just intelligent enough to recognize the other one being dumb.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. One of my favorite lines from this movie is when they have been I guess they got kicked out of the hotel and they're outside and they're trying to like stay warm. And Lloyd says to Harry, "Oh my God, here, like you can have this extra pair of gloves. My hands are starting to get sweaty." And he's like, "You've had extra gloves this whole time?" And he goes, "I'm gonna kill you." And he starts chasing him around and choking him. And through being choked, he
Yes.
goes, "Harry, your hands are freezing."
I don't know
just
why
love
the
it.
way you just said that reminded me of the Rizzo Gonzo dynamic we talked about from Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yes. Yes.
Um, Harry and Lloyd, though, are so enjoyably dumb. And I think Jim Carrey gets all the credit because he's so big and so expressive. And it's Jim Carrey. This was when he really became the Jim Carrey that we know today. These
Yeah.
in 1994, I think it is that he has the 3 movies, this, The Mask, and Ace Ventura, that all blew up.
Mhm.
But Jeff Daniels is so good as Harry.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey is so comedic, but Jeff Daniels, I believe, is being that dumb. You know what I mean? Like Jeff
Yes.
Daniels, I'm like, no, there's not a thought in that head right now, is there?
It's so true. And I think Jeff Daniels does such a good job of being naive. Like, you get the idea that Lloyd feels as though he's like a womanizer or he has like, he's like suave. And I think Jeff Daniels is just like this sweet little innocent guy. And, maybe not, it's maybe a little bit more nuanced than that, but I think that dynamic is so good. And Jeff Daniels does such a good job of like, you can tell that Lloyd is the ringleader of all of the operations, right? And Harry is just along for the ride. And it's so well done. And I think Jim Carrey is driving the bus, but Jeff Daniels is navigating.
If it's a tour bus, Jim Carrey is driving the tour bus, but Jeff Daniels is there narrating for us what we should be looking out the windows to see. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you need
Yes.
both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what are your feelings generally on Jim Carrey? Like, where do you stand on Jim Carrey?
I mean, I love Jim Carrey in general. I think his heyday sort of ended probably in the late 2000s, I feel like.
For
I think
sure.
the last majorly successful movie I can remember that he had was the animated Christmas Carol version that he'd had.
I didn't even know that there was one.
I think it's like 2008 or 2009.
Wasn't he in the Lemony Snicket
Yeah, that might be
thing?
right around then too. He was also, I remember Kick-Ass 2 being marketed around him a lot, even though that movie I don't think did that well.
Oh,
But now I feel like he's much more so retreated from acting. I don't know
yeah.
how intentional that is. I remember he had a show on Showtime for a little bit that I heard was really good.
He wrote a book. I have it. I've never read it. He wrote a book that was like some kind of weird fiction. I don't know. I bought it because it was his, but I don't think I ever got into it. I agree. I think a lot of his stuff is like not for me.
Oh,
I'm pro
you know what we
Mhm.
forgot about? He's in something majorly successful right now.
Oh, what?
The Sonic the Hedgehog movies. I know you and I aren't huge fans of Sonic the Hedgehog, but he's the main baddie from those, Dr. Robotnik.
Okay, I have two things to say. Number one, did you just suggest that those movies were successful? And number two, did you say he's the main baddie?
Yeah, the antagonist.
I don't understand. Baddie or bad guy?
Bad guy.
Yeah, but why did you say baddie? That's such a weird thing. Like that came out of your mouth so naturally.
He's a bad guy. He's a baddie. I don't know.
I
And by the way, they're extremely successful box office wise.
That is so crazy to me. But
They
good
are
for him.
huge hits. Yes.
Dr. Robotnik. I didn't realize that was from Sonic.
Yeah. And the Showtime show I'm thinking of was Kidding, is the name of it.
Oh. You know, I love Jim Carrey. I think the Mask, Ace Ventura, like those I'm not the target audience for
Truman
that.
Show.
No, I'm talking about the
Ah,
ones that I don't love.
sorry. Continue.
That's okay. That's just like not for me. But Truman Show, oh my God. The fucking cable guy, Dylan.
We love the cable guy.
Oh my God, that was our shit.
The only reason we haven't done on the podcast is because the two of us know that we each think of it as a movie to watch before we die.
Yeah, but should me, you, and Zach do it just so we can all watch it and quote it?
Maybe. Although we've been quoting it for decades.
I know, but it's so good. Um, yeah, I really love him. I know that he's a bit of a polarizing figure because I think people often just kind of associate him with Ace Ventura, and I think they forget that he is so talented. Like, have you ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yeah.
Amazing.
No, I think he's shown, like, even in the not as good dramatic movies he did, like the number 23, I don't think is a good movie.
Never saw it.
He's not bad in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He can do serious acting very well. He just doesn't do it that often, I guess.
Yeah. You know who I think is probably like the closest like next of kin to Jim Carrey?
Who?
Tell me if you agree with this. Adam Sandler.
Well, I wouldn't call him next of kin because they're kind of like the same age. I thought you meant like a, a younger version.
No, but I'm saying like in the Venn diagram of
Yeah, they
actors
definitely
that
have
are
similarity
like
of they're known for being comedic, but they show glimpses of dramatic greatness with like
yeah,
Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, stuff like that.
very like big and boisterous and like over the top.
Yeah, you know who else I think of who hasn't had like a big dramatic role yet, but I'm like, I think it could be there. And
Who?
I feel like you're not, I don't even know if you know this guy that well. Tim Robinson, the I Think You Should Leave guy and the chair
Oh
company
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
He is one of those guys who I'm like, he is so out there comedically, but I could totally see somebody casting him in like a very dramatic role and him nailing it.
Do you think he's that funny?
So here's what I'll say. I remember I watched the entirety of I Think You Should Leave with Zach, and we came to the agreement that this show, every sketch is either one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen or so terribly unfunny. And it's like
Okay.
I never watched one of those sketches and was like, huh, that was okay. I either was laughing out loud or I was like, is this one over yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
Corey
though.
watched it and
Overall,
liked it.
yeah, I think he's great. I watched that movie he did, Friendship, with Paul Rudd, and he's just out there. The chair company is really good, even though it's so ridiculous. I would recommend
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right. Good to know. You know what's funny? Speaking of like other actors, as we were watching the movie and they're in the restaurant with Mental
Yeah.
and they're doing the hot peppers and whatnot. Corey looked at me and said, if this movie were made today, that could be Danny McBride.
Yeah. Well, I guess now I feel like you would get bigger actors even for the smaller roles. I kind of like the fact that he's not like a super famous actor. Like I know that guy from one or two other things, but he's such a character actor.
Yeah.
And I feel like now we too often disregard the character actor for let's get a bigger name for this 30-second role.
Yeah, but isn't Danny McBride a character actor?
No, Danny McBride is kind of a big deal, I think.
No, he's such a piece of shit.
Why do you hate him? He's great.
He's just I don't like him. Anyway, okay, so we've got to talk about the probably the most iconic scene, which is when they roll into the benefit wearing the orange and powder blue tuxedos.
It's the most iconic look. It's not the most iconic scene, but yeah, it's like the look you remember from this.
What
Yeah.
do you think is the most iconic scene then?
Them in the car, you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world. That I think
No.
is the most memorable moment of the whole movie.
Really?
5 people who are listening right now, comment below what's the most memorable moment of this entire movie.
I feel like it's when they come in and they're sword fighting with the canes.
Which apparently was like an improv that they came up with on like their 6th or 7th take. Jim Carrey was like, "You want a sword fight on this one?" And Jeff Daniels was like, "Let's do it."
That's amazing. I said to Corey, if you had to wear one of these to our wedding, which one would it be? And he said
The blue.
he would have to go blue,
Yeah.
and Frank would have to wear the orange one. And I was like, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Which one is dumb and which one is dumber?
I think Harry is dumb and Lloyd is dumber.
No, I meant between Frank and Corey.
Oh, I thought you were changing the subject. Frank is definitely dumber.
Oh, poor Frank.
Sorry, but it's just the truth. You know, you can't get around it.
You know what scene is also one of the most memorable? And I think it's why, even though Jim Carrey is, like I said, the better known comedic actor, Jeff Daniels in that fucking bathroom is so good.
Oh my God. Yep.
The horrific reaction to the toilet doesn't flush with the music and his face is so perfect. And also, we've all been in a situation where I was like, I don't know if I'm making it to this toilet right now. And he does such a good job of the Russian, like gotta get the pants down. Oh, gotta get the underwear down. And the face of horror and relief at the same time. He just nails it.
He really does. That had me laughing out loud so hard. And I was thinking about how in Harold and Kumar, I did not think the fart humor was funny, but this had me rolling.
Well, it's very different from Battle Shits, but yes,
Yeah.
I do think Harry is great, and it's something that they really sort of expand on in Dumb and Dumber when Harry met Lloyd. And the only reason it works so well in that version, because it's never, I don't think Harry ever actually shits in the prequel. I think it's he rubs chocolate all over something or mud all over something.
Yes.
And both times it's Bob Saget as the other character. And he crushes it. Bob Saget just going, "Oh my God, there's shit everywhere. You shit all over the walls. You shit all over the ceiling." Like Bob Saget screaming about shit is so good
Yes.
that alone is worthwhile for people to see Dumb and Dumberer, even though I think most people will never watch it.
One of the things that I like made me know that I was meant to be with Corey was when we were very casually talking and he said, "There's shit everywhere." And I was like, oh my God.
It's in the
He just-
radiator. Like he just, every part he can reference, he does. I feel like they just let Bob Saget go and he ran with it.
Yes, it was great. But no, Jeff Daniels is amazing in that scene. That scene is so funny. And, one of our favorite references lately is a meme that says, "There are no atheists when the toilet water starts rising."
Yep. That's 100% fact.
It's so real.
I also love Jeff Daniels in the scene with the snowball fight where it turns into him actually like throwing her down the hill. The way he gets up and really like looks at her with his dukes up, like, "Let's go," before he realizes that he's being insane is pretty great.
Yeah. It's so good. I think this movie is very simple. It's very straightforward. They throw a lot of jokes at you. I think most of them land. And, like I was saying in the beginning, I think the early jokes are maybe a little quick and a little like not as, immediately funny. But I think as the movie starts pacing and it settles in, everything is much funnier. And I think it just works.
Yeah, I kind of, I agree with a lot of that. I don't think I have too many other opinions. Should we get to facts already?
Let's do it.
I want the truth! Face the facts, ducks.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
Starting with ratings on IMDb, it has a 7.3 out of 10. On the Rotten Tomato meter, it has a 70% with 37 fresh reviews and 16 rotten. Audience score of 84% with an average score of 4.2 out of 5. It had a budget of $17 million. It grossed $247 million. It was released December 18th, 1994, and it opened in first. And the same weekend, you could have seen The Santa Claus, The Lion King, Interview with the Vampire, and Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
The critics' consensus, a relentlessly stupid comedy elevated by its main actors. Jim Carrey goes bonkers, and Jeff Daniels carries himself admirably in a against-type performance. Roger Ebert gave it 2 stars. Carrey, I am now convinced, is a true original. In The Mask, he had the screenplay and production to back him up. Here, the filmmaking is more uncertain.
Oh, interesting.
Desson Thompson from the Washington Post, an uneven collection of bodily function jokes, facial gyrations, sexual jibes, and pedestrian slapstick.
Disappointing.
David Day from Horror Movie Talk, the magic within Dumb and Dumber lies in Jeff and Jim, 2 grown-ass adult males acting like actual 6th grade children, keeping straight faces and horsing around in ways that would make every mother in America roll their eyes. And Rob Gonzalez from Rob's Movie Vault, it isn't nonstop hilarity. There are quite a few dead spots, but I liked it a lot. Couple letterbox reviews. This one from Unk, me and bro if we were a little smarter.
Stupid.
Mackenzie, watching this back to back as a child shaped me into the person I am today. I'm unhinged and probably need help. And this one from Jim Film, basically they're really stupid and it's meant to be funny, but it's not.
Oh.
Directed by Peter Farrelly, who also directed Green Book, Shallow Hal, and There's Something About Mary. The screenplay is written by Peter and Bobby Farrelly and Bennett Yellen, who also wrote Me, Myself, and Irene, Stuck on You, and The Heartbreak Kid. Stars Jim Carrey as Lloyd, who you may know from Ace Ventura, The Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and Bruce Almighty. Jeff Daniels as Harry, who you may know from Arachnophobia, The Purple Rose of Cairo, and Speed. Lauren Holly as Mary, who you may know from NCIS as Jenny Shepard, Picket Fences, and Dragging the Bruce Lee Story. And Mike Starr as Joe Mentolino, who you may know from Ed Wood, Uncle Buck, or in that episode of The Office, Michael Scott thinks the mafia has come, but he's just an insurance salesman named Grotti.
Oh my God, that's where I know him from.
Yeah, he's John Grotti, the insurance salesman.
Oh my God.
That's the number one thing that I think of when I see him now. He's also in an
Wow.
SVU episode where he's like, it doesn't matter. You don't need Dylan to devolve into 5 minutes of SVU talk.
No, thank you.
All right, fun facts. Jeff Daniels claimed he was at a golf course one day when Clint Eastwood told him that he had just seen the movie. Daniels braced himself for a negative reaction, but to his surprise, Eastwood wanted to tell Jeff Daniels that the bathroom scene had happened to him once when he was on a date. Daniels later co-starred with Clint Eastwood in Bloodwork. I just find it hilarious that Clint Eastwood was like, been there, shit that.
Oh my God.
The original title of the movie was A Power Tool Is Not a Toy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think somebody in like production just came up with Dumb and Dumber and they stuck with it. When Harry and Lloyd are in the car, Lloyd asks if Harry wants to hear the most annoying sound in the world. This was improvised and not originally in the script, and you can tell by the look on Jeff Daniels' face when he starts doing it. After scamming Seabass to pay for their bill, Lloyd says he saw it in a movie. The movie he's speaking of is Something Wild from 1986, and the guy who pulls the scam is played by Jeff Daniels.
Oh my God. Crazy. Movieception.
Steve Martin and Martin Short both turned down the role of Lloyd,
Wow.
which a lot of people think the movie was written in mind for Jim Carrey. It was not, but they ended up getting Jim Carrey, obviously. According to the Farrelly brothers, Jeff Daniels was not wanted for the film, but Jim Carrey wanted him in it. In order to ensure a no from him, they offered Jeff Daniels only $50,000 for the role. He accepted without any hesitation, and he did not attempt to negotiate, despite insistence from his agent the film would kill his career. This was obviously Jeff Daniels' most successful film when it came out.
Yeah. Probably still is.
Honestly, I think so. Jim Carrey chipped his tooth many years earlier, but had a cap removed for this film to make the character look more deranged.
That was the first thing that I Googled was how did they chip his tooth? Because I was like, that can't be paint, right? Like it looks real. And then I saw that story and I was like, that is fucking awesome.
So initially they offered Jim Carrey $700,000 to appear in the movie. Now, they had to make him an offer. It was the same weekend that Ace Ventura was coming out. They waited until Monday to make the offer. And this was when Ace Ventura opens at #1 in the box office. So Jim Carrey's agents renegotiated with the producers and upped his salary from $700,000 to $7 million. nearly half of the film's budget.
Holy shit. Damn, and Jeff Daniels made 50,000.
Yep. I'm sure in the long run it's worked out pretty well for both of them, but damn.
Yeah.
According to Jeff Daniels, none of the scenes between Jim Carrey and himself were filmed during the first week of production because the studio was fully prepared to replace Daniels in the role, even going so far as to have a comedian on standby waiting to take over. However, after viewing the dailies and constant insistence from Jim Carrey that a real actor, as opposed to a comedian, play opposite him to ground him, the studio ultimately allowed Jeff Daniels to keep the role.
That is so fucked up. Can you imagine if there was like another accountant just standing next to your desk waiting to take over?
Oh, Gab, I think there is. I constantly feel ready to be replaced, and I have been.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. Following the release of this movie, Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly, who played Mary, did get married in real life, but the marriage only lasted a year.
Wait, what?
They were married for a year after this movie. There was a chance.
That's crazy because they met in this movie?
I don't know that for certain, but it was after this movie that they got married. Yeah.
Jeez, that is so weird.
Okay, so I did research really quickly, and they found out she met Jim Carrey during auditions for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and they developed a relationship while working together on Dumb and Dumber. Then in 1996 they got married, and in a year they got divorced in 97.
Interesting.
So a little bit more from Roger Ebert. When Roger Ebert went to see the film, he wasn't very positive about the movie as a whole, but he did admit that he laughed so loudly that he embarrassed himself during the scene where Billy the blind boy is seen stroking Harry's dead pet bird, Petey. Ebert added that he did not laugh as loudly again or very often, which was fine because, quote, if the whole movie had been as funny as that moment, I would have required hospitalization.
That's great. Isn't it so funny to hear what like people that we admire whose like critical lens of film is so distinguished and like that's what he thought was hilarious.
And he's just like, that blind boy petting that dead bird got me.
Yeah, like that was the moment for him.
Which I get it, because for me, it's the moment where he spits the lettuce out to give him CPR and he doesn't want it. Yeah. Oh, God, that's all the facts I got.
All right, well then I guess you know what time it is.
Okay, Gab, then that must mean it's time for mail.
Let's do it.
Mail time!
When you control the mail, you control information.
Mom asked me to ask you if there's any mail for us here by mistake.
What?
We've got another message from our Canadian correspondent. The
What's up,
dumber
Kyle?
to our dumb. Let's bring in Kyle.
Gab, Dylan, hello. I enjoyed your conversation on Heart Eyes. It's funny to evaluate Valentine's Day around a horror movie. Obviously, Dylan, I believe, is much more of the horror movie fan than Gab is. I might have that wrong, but I know Dylan loves horror movies. But I was curious. Obviously, Valentine's Day as a concept, as a holiday, is such a commercial thing. But I was curious for the two of you, not with each other, that would be weird. But if you were to set up a date night or maybe dinner and a movie, what movie would you pick as potentially if it's on Valentine's Day or just any other evening? If you're going to have dinner and go to a movie and you could pick the movie, it doesn't have to be something new. What would be the movie that you would want to watch, or at home? If you're eating at home and then throwing a movie on, that is maybe a romantic comedy or a romance. What would that be? I'm really curious what you guys have to say.
Well, did you hear that at the end? I went,
Yeah.
I don't think he did that on purpose, but I like it.
I'm thinking like he means like a rom-com. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, or like a Valentine's Day movie. Like it could be just like a romance.
Do you have an immediate answer?
No, I have to think about this.
My immediate instinct is Jerry Maguire.
Of course it is.
I know, I've done it on this podcast. That's the first movie that came to my mind, and I feel like that's what I would default to. Every other like rom-com I'm thinking of doesn't hit me the same way. When Harry Met Sally is up there too, obviously.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out a couple, and I want you to tell me what you think about them. And if you think it's a movie that you might want to do on the podcast, you can choose not to answer. But These are the ones that come to my mind. First is Crazy Stupid Love.
Would we do it on the podcast? I'll say my opinion on that. Maybe we should do it on the podcast.
Okay. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and we're actually just recording an episode that does involve puppetry on the side. So I can't think of Forgetting Sarah Marshall without thinking of, and when I catch Van Helsing, I will slay him.
It's so good. And uh oh man.
I feel like I thought such cheesy ones at first. Like Bridget Jones's Diary isn't bad, but I'm like, love Bridget Jones'
I've
Diary.
never seen it.
It's fine. It's good.
Yeah. I've considered, especially doing on the podcast, Up, which I think is the first 10 minutes of that movie will completely crush you.
Yeah, that's not a fun watch. That's a reevaluate your choices watch.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of if I've got anything else that immediately comes to my mind. I'm like scrolling through movies I own to see if there's anything, and I'm just in the horror section like, no, that's not romantic.
Wrong.
I'm like, The Thing.
So romantic. God.
Die Hard, the way he wanted to get back to Holly.
Oh God, that movie is so fucking good.
It is so good.
I guess. God, I'm gonna be so disappointed with myself when this episode airs, and I'm like, all I had was Crazy Stupid Love and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and the first 10 minutes of Up. You know what movie I like too? It's not like a romance, but I really like 500 Days of Summer.
I like it. I wonder if it would have aged poorly if I watched it again now. Is kind of my feeling about it, because I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah.
What would you say about a movie that we also did on this podcast that Frank brought, The Replacements?
Hated it.
They were romantic. Remember the John Madden and Pat Summerall narrating it?
Terrible.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have that much else either that comes to mind.
Sorry, listen, Kyle, stop putting us on the spot.
Or you gotta tee me up for real easy answers here, Kyle. I'm not a smart man.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for spending time just listening to us think out loud.
Yeah, I guess we'll get back to verdicts for Dumb and Dumber.
Thank you.
We had to answer this question. Our pets' heads are falling off. Like, Jesus.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
So listen, I don't think this was the best movie ever made, but I do think that it is hilarious. It's very quotable. I think, whenever you talk about like, is it a movie to watch before you die? You have to also ask yourself, is it not a movie to watch before you die? And I really feel that if somebody came up to me and said, I've never seen Dumb and Dumber, I would be like, you have to. Like, that's the guttural reaction that I get, is like, everyone has to see this movie, even if it's not going to change your life or be something you ever watch again. It's permeated pop culture in such a way. It's such a beautiful, like, easy watch. The plot isn't super important. There are so many gags. There's something for everyone. I am going to stick with yes, it is a movie to watch before you die. Jim Carrey is a revelation, and I really think Jeff Daniels is just as good. And the guy from The Office is in it. Dylan, I'm waiting for you to disappoint me.
Wait no longer. Here are my thoughts. So I was thinking about it. I was like, what is the perfect time to watch this movie? And I feel like I probably saw this as a kid a million times on TV. And you know what? I feel like I saw this movie a lot on coach buses. Like in camp, if you happen to be on a coach bus or on a field trip or something, this is one of those perfect movies that they would end up playing, I feel like. Because this is a movie that I could fall asleep during and wake up, and it doesn't matter how much I've missed. I can just laugh at the part I wake up watching.
Yep.
I say that both as a compliment and a knock, I think, that the plot is so inconsequential. To me, it kind of feels like, that bag of potato chips where there's something in it, but there's a lot of air too. And twice I was asked while watching this movie, how long is this? And it felt like by the time we got to Aspen, that there was just a little too much there. You know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, we're at Aspen, so it's almost over. And it turned out I was like, no, there's like an hour here. So I think they probably needed to cut this from about, it feels like it's got to be like an hour 50 down to like an hour 35. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just needed a little bit of tightening.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite a movie watch before you die for me, but it's good. It's very
Oh!
good.
But the cable guy.
Oh, the cable guy obviously is movie watch.
I mean, the cable guy. Yeah. Listen,
I
I
can tell you're
wasn't.
not devastated by this one. I don't think that this was one that you're like certain that this was.
No, but there's something about like it feels like such an American classic where it's like comfortable to be like, of course this is a movie to watch before you die. And anytime I think you watch something back and you're like, it's okay, it loses, you just feel like you have to admit to yourself that it wasn't as good as you remembered
You're
it
just
being,
shoving a little bit of dirt on your childhood memory or something. That's okay.
Yeah, and that sucks. I am glad that we watched it again. I'm not like super shocked. I kind of figured you were going to be a snob about this. I'm shocked at the how long is this? No laughing out loud at all? This person didn't think it was funny at all?
There was some laughing out loud. I think it was also a tough time with a lot of the. I guess there's more body horror than I remembered. Like not horror, but him pretending to mutilate himself or him almost getting raped. You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah,
that.
him pretending to mutilate himself. When did he pretend to mutilate himself?
When he pretends to slit his own throat and there's all the blood, or the
Oh,
bird getting murdered, or you know,
the owl.
yeah, the owl watching the almost vomit where they have the peppers. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes on that for some who are a little more squeamish of those things were tough to handle.
Uh, okay. I guess that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, let me ask you this. If there's no Dumb and Dumber, if this movie never comes out, besides Dumb and Dumberer and Dumb and Dumber 2, obviously, do you think that there's like a butterfly effect in comedy?
I mean, not really, because what do you think you would lose out on something in particular? Because I think it's the buddy comedy, which will always be a concept. Like,
Yeah.
there are so many movies like that. That's what a lot of these like Seth Rogen movies in the 2000s were built on, like Superbad or Pineapple Express and things like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this movie is so iconic
Uh-huh.
and I guess I'm just wondering like where why is it so iconic if we are like, yeah, it's good.
I think it's the moment that it hit during too was all 1994, the 90s is the time we all realized like Jim Carrey is amazing. So we were watching everything Jim Carrey did.
Mm,
Everything was a huge hit, and I think that this got a lot of play at the time. You know what I mean?
mm,
I think maybe part of the reason I'm softer on it now is because I've heard so much of it at some point. Maybe.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this was a
I'm certainly not
giant
out
waste of
saying it's
time.
bad
Yeah.
at all. I just don't think it's a movie watch before you die for me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those things that like I wish I had left in the box,
For yourself, you mean, or because of me?
both.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little disappointing, but that's okay. All right. Well, I guess if you want to write us an email, you can feel free to do that. You have free will. There's no law saying you can't. You can give us a recommendation for a movie. We might get to it, we might not. We have a long list, and quite frankly, we don't really care what you think, but you can always try.
but as Scotty told us, it was a viewer recommended episode that was the first movie to watch before you die.
That is true. I would have never seen Vampire's Kiss if it weren't for Scotty's recommendation. And quite frankly, it is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. So I think we should maybe take some more viewer recommendations. So we'll see. You can find the link tree that has a bunch of links. One of them is to the Hall of Pods podcasting network. Those are our friends. There is one to our store where you can buy some merch. There is a link to my Venmo. There's a link to our social media. There's a link to just about anything. So click around, have some fun. And, listen, don't meet your heroes and don't watch old childhood movies that you remembered loving.
Yeah, and tell us, between Gab and I, who's dumb and who's dumber?
Oh, don't tell us. We don't want to know.
Somehow we're both dumber? What do you mean?
Yeah, this is just not going to end well.
We had the most incredibly romantic time.
I thought we were going to be together forever. And then about a week later, right out of the blue, she sends me a John Deere letter.
She give you any reason?
Yeah, I called her up. She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her enough or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.